As you've probably gathered, I'm a big fan of oval racing, but there is nothing anywhere which matches the power and noise of the Formula One stock cars. There is one significant difference between oval racing and all other forms of motorsport. The more successful drivers are placed at the back of the grid and not the front. This means that they have to work their way through the novice drivers to get to the front and take the checkered flag first. Watching and taking part are two very different things, and there is no way you would get me into one of these things with 20 other nutters. Let's meet a man who would though, Formula One stock car driver, Chris Lloyd.
I've always been and watched it and took part in it with my dad, who used to do it 20 odd years ago. It's the sheer power of the cars. You've got 700 horsepower and there's no comparison to having such a quick car, plus it's contact sport as well.
Does it get very aggressive out on track? I mean,
it can do, yeah, it can do.
I mean, I know it carries on from meeting to meeting.
Yeah.
Does it ever carry on into the pits though?
No, there's never any fighting or anything like that in the pits. It never goes on like that. It's just you're in your own car and you're your own man out on the track, and when you're out on the track, it doesn't matter how big you are, you're all the same size.
Can you take us through some of the technical aspects of the car?
It's got a 510 Chevy big block with 720 brake horse. It's a Doug Nash racing gearbox from America, which we can change the gears in quick time if we need to for different sizes of track.
Now, Formula One stock car racing looks a very expensive sport to be involved in. What kind of budget do you set aside for an annual season's racing?
You spend as much as you can afford, really. Your tyres are the main thing at £80 odd each, and you could probably strip a tyre in a full meeting. You know, so you're looking at probably 150 quid on a meeting. It's a great track, Ennisford. It helps you a lot more around the bends because of the banking. Plus there's plenty of room as well, so there's a lot of room for mistakes, but it is fast, and you've just got to keep yourself to yourself and just get your head down and keep going.
Now, sitting on top of your car is a bright red roof and two flashing amber lights, which means you're very good at being a Formula One stock car driver, but it also means that you start right at the back of the grid. Do you have to adopt any particular tactics during a race?
Well, being at the back is a lot more of an advantage. It may not think it is, but you can relax for probably a lap until everybody sort of sorts itself out and you can see what's happening all the time. So you've got a bit of breathing space, and then once after a lap you just start picking them off and getting your way through the grid.
Let's see some of these cars in action. Formula One stock cars can reach speeds of over 80 miles per hour down those straights. Now, that may not sound much considering the power output, but remember that this is an aggressive and full contact motorsport. Very few drivers in the UK make a living out of Formula One racing. Chris, like many of the drivers, is extremely dedicated to his sport, spending in excess of 20 hours per week keeping this car running. All this on top of a full-time job. Let's go back to Chris and find out how his race went. Chris, we spoke to you earlier. It's been a bit of a hectic day and not as successful as you would have wished.
Just one of them things, I think. It's just not gone right at all today.
Just couldn't get in.
It was just a case of, it's such a big track, and the way the smashes went off, it just didn't go right for me. I took the wrong way and ended up in the fence and just couldn't get going.
If you do have a bad day, how hard is it to bounce back? Or do you spend the week thinking, if I'd have done this, if I'd have done that?
I never really think at all, to be truthful. You've either got the luck on the day or you haven't. So you just take every day as it comes. At the end of the day, it's a sport that we all enjoy, and if you win, it's a bonus. If you lose, try again next time.
I always enjoy meeting people who are dedicated to their sport, and meeting Chris was no exception. He may not have got the results he wanted today, but Chris will be back out there for more next time. Good luck to him for the rest of the season.